Hey guys, this is Michał from mdbootstrap.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create a Facebook profile with the newest Bootstrap 5 and Material Design 2.0 by using MDB UI Kit. Please be aware, this will be rather advanced coding session, so you need to know HTML, CSS and Bootstrap to follow the tutorial. This is important because I won't go into every detail while coding, assuming you already know the basics. If you don't feel that your knowledge of HTML, CSS and Bootstrap is good enough, that's okay. Use our free tutorials, link in the description, to learn these basics, then come back here and start advanced projects like Facebook profile. In this tutorial I am using MDB5 as UI kit, Visual Studio Code editor, and MDB5 snippets for Visual Studio Code, thanks to which the editor suggests MDB components to me. You will find links to all these tools in the description. Alright, let's start coding. We'll start with the basic layout. That means header, main, and footer. Actually, we don't need a footer here, but we'll leave it because it doesn't hurt nobody. Let's focus on header. At the beginning we need a navbar. So we'll go to MDB5 docs, open navigation category, and go to the navbar. We'll grab the basic example and copy it, and then we'll paste it here. And we have our navbar. Perfect. Now we'll remove all the content within, and we'll create it from scratch. What we actually want to achieve. Have a look at this composition. We have 3 sections divided exactly into the 3 equal parts. So to have this kind of composition we need to use a Flexbox. And actually navbar already by default have a Flexbox enabled. So we'll just create 3 divs. One for the left elements, the second for the centered elements, center, and the third for the right elements. Let's just type here anything, maybe too much, and let's see if we have the composition we want. Yes, exactly. Alright. Now let's take care of the first section, that means left elements. As you can see, we need a logo here and the search box. So come back to the navbar docs and look for a brand. Grab this piece of code, paste it to the left div, and let's see how does it works. Yes, it works, but it's too big, so we decrease the height. Now it's fine. Alright, now the search box. In the forms docs, in the input group, we look for, yes, this input. Grab the code and paste it. Now it seems broken because we need to apply another flexbox to this specific parent element. So we add class dflex, which enables flexbox in MDB. Alright, we also need to remove this margin bottom class, and now it's fine. One more thing, I prefer to have this search icon on the right side of the search box, so we will just move it here. Now it's perfect. Alright, what we have next? Icons in the center section. Alright. So remove the lorem ipsum also here. And now come back to the navbar docs and look for icons. Alright. We'll grab this unordered list and paste it here. Have a look. Alright. Actually, we will specify on this container fluid within the navbar that we want to enable a flexbox in a specific mode. We'll use class justify content between. Yes, just to be sure that it will be rendered correctly. Come back to the icons. So, first of all, we don't want the drop down here. As we can see in this project, we have just simple icons. So we have a home here, flag, video, shopping bag, and users. In MDB docs, in the icon docs, we have very nice search when we can find all of them, like home. We'll grab this. Home and flag. We need to change this from FAB to FAS. Yes, it's fine. What next? Video. Alright. We'll copy this 3 more times. Video. Alright. Shopping bag. And users. Looks nice. We need few more things here. First of all, we want them to be a bit larger. The same as here. So we use class FALG. And we copy this to each icon. Now they are fine. One more thing, we want this little red notification. So coming back to the navbar docs, notification, and this specific line of code can provide and notification. Paste it here. And yes, it works. One more here. You can change the number if you want. All right. So the center section is ready. Now it's time for the right. In the last section, right element, we'll need a very similar components to the center element. So we can just copy this. All right. So we need an avatar. We can find it in the navbar docs. And here is an avatar. We copied only this single element. And we can replace the first icon with this avatar. I remove unnecessary comment and let's see how it looks. Alright, looking fine. And now we need a drop-down icon. So coming back to the icons in the navbar docs, and here the last item is an icon drop-down. So I'm going to copy this, because when you click on these icons, you will see it's actually drop-downs. So we will leave the second element like this, because this element is not a drop-down, but all three next are drop-downs. So remove this and add 3 more drop-downs. And yes, but there are a few things we need to fix. As you can see, here are these little arrows, and in this project there is no arrows. So we have a special class to hide drop-down arrows, and you can see it. Let me check. It's a hidden arrow class. So if we copy this and add this class to each of the drop-down icon in our navbar, here, important thing, we add this to A element, not to this LI drop-down element. And now it should work as expected. So yes, there is no arrow, but the drop-down still works. One more thing, as you can see, we need to fix this issue, because our drop-down is out of our view. So we can do it by actually I need to look into drop-down docs and menu alignment, and here is one more special class, drop-down menu right. So if we use this class, you can see we add this to the drop-down menu element like this, and we also add this to any other drop-down. And now it works just fine. So one more thing, we need to make these icons the same size as in the center section. So as you remember, we do it by adding FALG class. So where is the icon? Where is the icon? I'm sorry, here. FALG to the icon element here and here. And right now the size is fine. Alright, now we need to add these specific icons. So here is a plus sign, comment sign, bell, and this arrow down. So coming back to the icons, plus. All right, let's copy this. Oh, actually it should be here. Yes. Next is comments. Bell. I think yes, I did it incorrectly. So once again, comments should be in the third element. Plus circle in the second element. And it's still wrong. Alright. Circle, comments, bell. And the first element is just avatar. Alright. It seems I cannot count. There is an avatar. Alright. Comments. Yes, now it's fine. Bell. All right. And the last icon yes, perfect. So right now our navbar looks exactly the same as in this project. Now we can move to the main section. As you can see, this project is divided into two sections. One with the white background and the second with this gray background. So inside the main elements, we'll create a section and we call it white background. And to apply a white background to this section, we can use MDB class bg white. Alright. Next thing is to add a container. As you probably know, to use a Bootstrap grid system, we need to place it inside the container. Without that, it won't work correctly. So far it didn't change anything, but now we'll create this cover image. So in MDB docs, in navigation category, inside the headers docs, we look for a specific component, and this is a background image. And specifically this piece of code. We'll copy this and paste it inside the container. Alright. We remove this content here because we don't need this. Fine. And we also don't need a mask here. So we remove this. Alright. As you can see, this image has this nice shadow and slightly rounded corners. So to apply this, we can add shadow 1 strong and rounded class. Alright, but one more thing, as you can see, this rounded class applies rounded corners also to the top corners, but we want only to be applied to the bottom corners. So we'll change this rounded class to rounded bottom. And now it's fine. If you want, you can change the image. I will actually use the same image which was used in this Facebook profile project, so it looks like this. Cool. And now we need to create avatar. Let's create IMG element. And I'm going to just copy this image. Alright. We'll need to apply a few classes. First of all, we need to make a circle with this image. So there's a class for this in MDB, rounded circle. Yes. And we also want to apply shadows. So we will use a slightly stronger shadows. Alright. And to apply this kind of composition, to move one image over another one, we need to apply position absolute class. All right. So far we cannot see any changes because we need to apply a few inline styles. So we open the style attribute and we want to make this image a bit smaller. So I will set the width of this image to 168 px. Alright, and now I will add margin top minus 140 px. So right now is good, but we want to be centered. So we will use Flexbox to create this. So we create a parent div element and we add dflex to enable Flexbox to this element, and we specify Flexbox mode to justify content center. Perfect. One more thing, we need to clean a bit this code. So let's move all these images to another section. We'll call it just images, and here we create another section as section, and we call it user data. Section itself do not have any properties, do not change anything in our code, but I will use them very often because it helps me to keep my code clean. Now let's take care of user data section. It will be very simple. So I will use h2 element and strong to highlight this, and type a name Anado. Oh, sorry. Yes. All right. So I need to move it a bit down, so I can just add MB5 to the, oh, not this section actually, here to the images section. All right. And now let's add the description P and some lorem ipsum. All right, and let's add class text muted. All right, now the color is more appropriate. So of course we want to make it centered. We could do this just by adding text center to the section, but there is one problem. The description is stretched full width, and we want to have some kind of margins right and left. So to do this, we can use a special grid construction, which is regular row with a single column within. Call MD on, well, 6. But with one important difference, we will apply a flexbox to center this single column in this specific row. So deflex and justify content center. Now we can create another section. Section dedicated to these buttons. So we can call it like this, as section buttons. We can also add a border button to the user data section to create kind of divider. Alright. And now let's create these buttons. So in MDB docs, you can just type buttons, and we need this specific button. It's button link with no background. So we can actually copy this and let's paste it here. All right. Let's just copy it a few times. All right. So it would be useful to have some space between this divider and the buttons, so we can just add some padding to the button section, and the same as with margin, we can add padding by using class p y and let's say 3. All right, now it's good. So what we have here, it's post, about, friends, photos, and there is a drop down here. All right. Post, about, friends, photos, and to create a drop down, we will have a look at the drop down docs. So I'm going to copy this basic example and paste it here, and let's change this to button link. All right, we need some alignment here. So let's add a deflex to the button section. And justify content between, because we are going to separate buttons into the left section and right section. So let's just grab all of this and let's create 2 divs, one for the left elements and second for the right element. Here we can paste our buttons. All right. So what's more, to make this drop down display correctly, we need to change it display property. So to this drop down element we can add the inline block, which will change its display property to inline block, and as you can see now it's fine. One more thing, as you can see, text inside the buttons is gray, so to do this we need to add special class text reset, and here and here and here. All right, this button we want to stay with blue text because we want to highlight it as an active button. So as you can see, here is this light gray background with blue text. So we can achieve this by adding to the first button BG light, and this light background is barely visible. So now what we could do, we'll adjust it a little bit. So here in custom styles, we'll specify BG light to be, let's say, background color, and this. We also need to add important tag. Actually, important isn't always a good idea. In most of cases it's a very bad idea, but in this specific case we need to use it if you want to apply them, because this is how Bootstrap classes works. We cannot override them if you don't use important tag, but use it very carefully. All right, let's look how it looks right now. Better. All right, so now it's fine. What next? As you can see, there is a number of friends here, so we can achieve this kind of effect by adding, where is it, friends, by adding a small element, and just type any number you like. And you can also add class text muted. All right, now it's fine. Although after we change background color for BG light class, you can see right now our navbar is kind of broken. So we need to fix this. We don't want it to be this gray color. So what we can do, we'll just add, so we change this BG light to BG white, and we can add slightly bigger shadow 5, let's say. All right, now it's fine. So now we'll take care of this right buttons. So coming back to the buttons docs, we are going to use this specific button. So inside this div dedicated to right elements, we paste our button, and alright. Just copy this 4 times. Okay, and now we can adjust this. Actually, we want to apply this gray background also to this right buttons. So by adding BG light, we can achieve this result. All right. And what's more, we need to add some spacing between them. So we can do this by adding margin right, let's say 2. Yes, 2 is okay. Margin right 2, margin right 2, margin right 2. Well, the last one is not necessary. Fine. Alright, so first button, it's like edit profile, and we have icon here. So icons, edit. Alright, so we can copy the entire icon and paste it here. Alright, and I'm going to add margin right 1 to the icon. Yes, perfect. Now we have eye here, search icon, and this 3 dots icon. So eye. Alright, let's copy this. Search. Well. And the last one. Alright, and we'll decrease slightly padding in all of these buttons. So padding X, let's say 2. Oh no, I think 3 will be okay. Perfect. One more thing, it seems that these buttons and these buttons aren't aligned to the same line, so we can use another Flexbox class to align it correctly on the Y-X. So to do this, we just need to add align item center. And now it's fine. Now we can move to the gray section. So below white background section, we create another one. And we call it gray background. And again, we create a container within. And as you can see, here are 2 columns. So we'll create 2 columns grid. Yes. For the testing sake, we'll add some lorem ipsum here to see if it renders correctly. Alright, so to actually divide this layout into white and gray section, we need to add BG light class to the body. And now we can see this difference. So one more thing, we'll add to the white background section margin bottom 4 and shadow, well, let's say 2. All right, better. We need to apply one important modification to the containers itself, because right now it's just too wide. In a Facebook profile, this container is smaller. So what we can do in our custom styles, we'll just specify container max width to 1140 px, and right now, yes, much better. We need to adjust the grid columns. Right now they are equal, but when you look at the project, the right one is slightly bigger than the left one. So we can modify it by simply changing this col MD6 to col MD5 and the right one to col MD7. Alright, so for this component we'll use cards. So let's grab the basic example. All right. So we can remove this content and we'll add the strong element and type intro. All right. And now this basic information about the user. So we can use an ordered list. Let's add a few elements. And as you can see, we don't need these pointers, so we can add to the list class list unstyled. Yes. And thanks to this, well, now we cannot see anything, but if I add any text to li elements, you will see it works, but there is no points over here, no bullets. All right, let's type some content here. One more thing, I will add text muted to the list to achieve this subtle gray color. And now, well, I can just copy this. Alright, so I need an icon here. Icons. Briefcase. Alright. And let's add some margin, MR3 and MB3 also. Fine. And this should be a link. All right. And it should be bolded. And also we want it to stay gray. So we can add class text reset. All right. So now I'm going to copy this line. Whoa. All right. All right, now we need to change the icons. Graduation cap. Home. And let's see what exactly this icon is. All right, RSS. Globe. Now it's fine. Now we need these buttons. So we can go to the buttons docs. Let's grab light button. And we add BG light to make it a bit darker, and also we want this button to stretch the full width, and we can achieve this by adding button block. All right. Edit details and add hobbies. And copy this. Alright, some margin necessary. All right, so Now it's time for the pictures. As you can see, thanks to MDB, this is the real gallery, so you can click on the picture and you can well, just slide it, make it bigger, zoom it, drag it. A lot of features. And to use it, we need to go to the Lightbox docs. One more important thing, Lightbox is a Pro component, so to use it you need to have MDB Pro. Alright, so let's at the beginning just copy this. And I'm going to paste it below the buttons. And it actually works out of the box. So the one problem is that this spacing between pictures is too big. We can change it by adding to the row element gx and let's say 2. Alright, thanks to this class we can modify the spacing between columns. As you can see, if I change this to 5, the space is much bigger, so we want to have it at this size. Alright, so we also want to add some material design flavor to this picture, so we can achieve this by adding shadow 1 strong and let's say rounded. Yes, and we can copy this to the other pictures. Exactly. And now we can just copy these columns to have another row. But we need some margin bottom here. So let's say we will add margin bottom 2 to each column. And now of course you can change the picture if you want. Nope, doesn't work. Alright, so for this moment I will just leave this picture here. You can change it to whatever picture you like, so it's not that important for the project. So what we have next? One more button, edit feature. Alright, so we can copy one of these buttons, paste it here, rename it, and also add some margin to the lightbox, slightly smaller. Alright, now it's good. Now we can add another card, and that is card with photos. So we can basically copy the card above and let's add some margin bottom to this one. Alright, let's rename it to photos, and let's remove list and buttons, and we will leave only lightbox. We also want 3 more photos here to have 3 columns with 3 photos in each row. Exactly. And let's add some margin bottom. Let's say 4 here. Alright. And this is actually a link. So what we can do is to wrap this in a element, and we'll add class text reset. Alright. And we also need to add this button. We can actually use the same button as here, so it's button link. So another A and class button link, and let's add some text here. See all photos. Alright, and to align it correctly, we also need to add the inline block here and here, and to pull it to the right side we'll use float right. Alright, so as you can see, the padding in this button is slightly smaller, so we can modify it by add py, let's say 1, and px 3, and we can also now decrease a margin top in this link, and right now it's okay. So what we have next? Alright, another card with friends. So add some margin bottom to this card and copy this. Alright. Rename it to friends. See all friends. And here is a number of the friends. So we can add small element here with some number here, and also text class text muted. And we can add margin left, let's say 1. Alright. And now we need some avatars. So we can use the same grid which we used in our lightbox, but of course at the beginning we need to remove that lightbox element to keep only row and columns, And from the columns we can remove this data EMG attribute. Alright, and we can use the same picture here. Alright, let's copy this. And let's copy, oh sorry, let's copy this name. So below each image we can add P and small to make it a bit smaller. Right. And let's add text center to the role. Better. So we can also copy this. And maybe we'll add some, we'll decrease margin bottom in a paragraph element by adding class margin bottom, let's say 1. Alright, 1 will be okay. And we are actually done. So of course you can change the picture, change the name to whatever you like. I'm not going to do this because it's not that important for that project. You can do it on your own. So we can move to the next elements. Now we can move to the right column. So remove this lorem ipsum and let's create another card. Card body. And what do we have here? Here's a button with modal, an avatar and few buttons. So let's copy this graphic and we need to use Flexbox to align this avatar with this button exactly this way. So Let's create the flex and let's add some link, and inside this let's create EMG element, and we will add this avatar. Alright, and as the same as before, we need to specify the height of the image. So height, let's say 40 px. Alright, and we also want it to be circle. So we can achieve this by adding rounded circle and maybe some border. Yes. Now we need a button. So button class button light button block to stretch it full width, and button rounded for rounded corners, BG light for a slightly darker background. Alright, what's on your mind? What's on your mind? And some margin here would be useful, so let's add MR to the image. All right. And to create this modal, we need to go to the modal docs, so we can copy this modal from basic example and we can paste it, let's say here. Okay, let's copy the ID of this this model, and to connect the button with this specific model we need a few data attributes, and we will add them to this button. And let's copy the ID of the model and let's paste it here. And let's see if it works. Yes, it works. So actually, I'm not going to replicate exactly this model. I will leave it this way because this project. This tutorial is very long right now, so I don't want to make it even longer. So just let's move on with next components. So a few more buttons here, and these are actually the same buttons as here. So simply button links. Let's add some divider. Where is the divider? Alright. I need to place it out of this div with the Flexbox. And now we can see it. And for these buttons to align in this way, we also need a Flexbox. So let's create another div and let's add class dflex and justify content between. And now let's add buttons, button, text, so class button link and button LG to make it bigger. Yes, and we also need an icon here. It's a video icon. Whoa. Now it's okay, and let's add some margin right. MR2. Now it's fine. So now let's copy this 2 more times. And we'll add photo, video and mood. Alright, let's copy the icon. And alright, this one will be fine. Good. Now we can move to the newsfeed. We'll add margin bottom to this card and let's create another one. Facebook really loves cards, so my MDB snippets extension just created a card for me, so I can just remove all the content within. To create this post, we can at the beginning use the same avatar as here. So we can copy this part, remove the title and remove that button. Alright, now we need to add name and time. So let's add a div here. And now let's add a element with name inside it. Undo. Add class text dark to the link and margin bottom 0 because below we'll add another link with time. Let's see how it works. Alright, so we also need to add class dBlock to this, and now it's fine. Maybe some custom inline style to add some margin top -6 px. Oh, all right, now it's okay. What else? Text muted. Fine. Now the text. P lorem ipsum. Alright, some margin bottom to here. Maybe too much. Now it's okay. All right. And now, as you can see, the image has no margin, no padding here, so we need to create some special composition for the card, because as you can see, card is built with card element and card body. So card body adds a padding to the card. So if we want to add a picture without any padding, without any margins, we need to add this picture outside the card body element. So let's add an image element outside the card body. And let's add some graphic. And let's add class W100 to stretch it full width. And let's see how it looks. All right, exactly as we expected. Now, below this image, well, actually we want to wrap this into a element to make it clickable. Yes. And below this, we can add now another card body. And here we can place all the other elements, because as you can see, here we need padding and here we don't need it. Now we can move to create reactions, buttons and comments. So starting with reactions, let's create another div with Flexbox enabled, deflex, and justify content between, maybe with some margin bottom. And inside this we want to split the content in the left section with emoji and with the comments number on the right. So let's add a element, and inside this we need two icons. All right, this one. And her. Looking good, but we want her to be, of course, red. So we'll add text danger and text primary to the like button. Alright, and let's add spam element and let's add the number. Alright, now it's good. And comments on the right. So another div, another A element with class text muted, and let's add a number, 8 comments, let's say. All right, deflex. Of course, I created it out of deflex parent, so I need to move this, and now it should work fine. Yes. Now it's time for the buttons. So another div with another flexbox, deflex, justify content between and text center. And as you can see, here is border top and border bottom. So we can add this by adding border top and border bottom. We can also add some margin bottom. And now let's add some buttons. So these buttons actually are the same as here, so we can copy them. Where is it? Over here. Yes, one more thing. There is like, comment and share. So like, comment, share. So oops. We just need to change the icons, so it will be thumb up. S. I missed S. Alright. Comment and share. Exactly. All right. Now we can take care of the comments. So as you can see, we can once again use the same pattern as here. So let's copy this, deflex, alright, but instead of the name and time, we'll add text area. So let's remove this. Yes, and now go to the forms docs and input fields. Let's find text area. Alright, and let's copy it here. We can replace this empty div with text area element. Alright, and now we need to stretch it full width, and we can do this by adding W100 class. Alright, and let's say we want to have only 2 rows. Better. Write a comment. And it's fine. Now we can create answers. So again, we can use the same pattern as here with the avatar. So let me copy this, but I remove text area and add empty div here. I will also change the avatar. Alright. And now inside this empty div, I will create another div and I will add class bglight to create this little cloud with the answer. I also wanted it to be rounded, maybe rounded LG to increase border radius. And let's add some padding inside this. Let's say padding x3 and padding y1. And let's add some lorem ipsum to see how it looks. Alright, pretty good, pretty good. So now we need name and like and reply buttons. So a element strong John Doe class text dark margin bottom 0, and another, well, actually it's also a link, so a small O. Alright, we need to add display block to this comment. Now it's fine, and text muted. Alright, good. So below this we need to create this little buttons, actually links, but we can call them buttons, why not? Div. So we need to place it outside this Flexbox. So H and we need an icon here, icons. Oh no, actually there is no icon here, I think. Yes, it's just a text. My bad. So let's add strong like. Alright. Wait, actually it's still inside this. here. Yeah, exactly in this second div inside the flex element. Perfect. So let's add another button with reply text, and let's add text muted class, text muted, fine, and we can also add small class and margin L3, margin right 2, and here small, margin right 2. All right. Good. So actually we can comment this, it's single answer here, and now we can copy this. All right. Three will be fine. And yes, actually we are done.